So good evening to everyone. To start with, wish you very new year, happy 2021. I think we had a eventful 2020. So starting with this 2021, and welcome to another Whiztalks session here today from PMI Kerala chapter. So today we have Nellaiappan, who is who is going to talk about managing the remote teams. And just to give you a brief introduction about Nellaiappan, Nellaiappan is a PMP certified project manager who is working in Microsoft India. So he has more than 16 years of industry experience in managing and executing web-based, Windows-based application using .NET. And so he has a expertise in project management, and he has vast experience using the different tools and techniques in terms of the project management, and he also has vast experience in managing the teams which are geographically distributed across. And also his main expertise comes from finance and capital market domain. So we have Nellaiappan today. To you, Nellaiappan, so you can start with your session. So just before we start, just a quick update. If you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat box. And the PDU code to claim for this session, you will get it at the end of the session. Thank you so much. Over to you, Nellaiappan.
Yeah, thank you, Ramanujam. Thank you, PMI members. Hope you all can see the screen.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so today we are going to talk about managing the virtual teams with the success tips. So as you all knows that now all the companies are moving to the work from home culture, and all the team are working remotely. So we are going to talk about how to manage them and what are the challenges involved in managing the virtual team, and what are the possible solutions which can help you to manage the team to get the output and avoid the minimum turnaround time with that and get the output from the team. And we'll talk about the SCAF model, which can helpful to adopt on your projects. And we'll talk about the final thoughts on the objective of this session. So going into the virtual team or the remote teams, earlier we were familiar with the remote teams. Like we have teams split across different branches or different offices in different locations. So you have experience of having a point of contact or having a team discuss together and deliver the product or the project. So now with your existing team itself, like all the team members are virtually segregated in different places. They are segregated to their hometowns or to a remote tier 3 city or tier 4 city, like that. And you'll have a challenge of bringing them together at all the time over the project duration and get the work done. So you have a very good challenge of comparing to the remote team. You have more challenge in managing the virtual team. With the virtual team, you're going to have a benefit of the balanced blended team. So with the blended team, you're getting the expertise from across the geographical locations. You are not stick on to a simple persons or a limited of peoples who can join your organization. Now the opportunities are exposed to bring in the skill set from the different location in the world. So you can bring them different members to your team, to your project, and execute it fairly. So here the key thing is we have to treat all the employees fairly. So whenever a new member comes in, or that all the employees, they should all be treated as fair. So we should not make a partiality of the members who is giving more output or who is not giving output. We have to get the output from each and individuals. So every team members who are working in the team should feel like they are part of the same team. When they work as a virtual, they feel like they are isolated. When they are in an office, like when you are working in an office or in a project team, you are seeing them together or you are closely working with them. But when they are working in a virtual, they feel like some distance mattered, and they feel like they are isolated. So what we need to do is we have to make it more connected and make them part of the team. So whenever a meeting happens, or whenever if there is a possibility, like there is part of the team which is working in the office and part of the team still working in the remote, or the whole team is working in the remote, right? So whenever a partial team is working or everyone is in the remote, we have to make sure that every member in the project should be aware of what's happening in the office or in the project. They should not left with a lack of information. So that will create the insecurity to the team members, which will demotivate the people to give their 100% of the output. So that the transparency, even when they are in the office, the level of transparency should be more when you go into the mode of the virtual team. So what are the different challenges? So there are multiple challenges. Like the main challenges, we are not in the same room, because whenever a project comes in, or when you are talking about the problems, or when you are talking about the solution, or gathering the requirements, or discussing the solutions, the people are not sitting together, or we cannot create a go to the conference room and have a discussion, one-on-one discussion, or have a combined discussion to arrive a solution. The problem is the distance. The distance matters actually. The other factors which affects with the virtual team will be the time, the culture, the language, and the relationships. We will see one by one in the upcoming slides. To take about the time, so we have to create the schedule for the work and personal life. As people move to the work from home, they are tightly tied up with some personal works also. So they have a disturbances, or a kind of work which they cannot focus purely on the work, because they have the family, they have the kids, they have the grandparents or the parents. All those peoples are having their own works. So when you are working in the home, you have to be very flexible enough to define the work-life balance. So you have to be, it is very challenge for the individuals to segregate the work and personal work. So, and managing the team, which is in a different place, like as I said, in the tier 2 city or tier 3 city, there is a possibility of the connectivity, the internet connectivity cannot be as much as good compared to the metros or the cities where the other peoples are working on. There is a possibility of power outages, the schedules with their personal work. All those things are going to disturb the work. So how to avoid this will be like we have to keep track of the members by defining the schedule and time. We have to stick on to the schedules, like this is the period I will be available, and this is the time I have some personal works having to be taken care of, and then these are the times I can able to work on, like that. So the project manager should make a aware of when the team member is available and their schedule and their timing of the work. So it is better to wake up at the same time, even when you are in work from home, like how you are going to the office. Like the same way, you have to start your day at the same time. Like you have to wake up the same time, have your personal things sorted out before you start your day, and then stick onto the schedule. So try to work by defining the schedules and take a break wisely. So work for 2 hours, 3 hours, take a break, have some work, and get refreshed with your family, get some support to the kids, and then back to the work, so that it will give more productivity to you. And when you are defining that, the team should be aware of the meeting time. So every day you have to decide what is the day you are going to start, and define the meeting time. So this is the time we have a regular stand-up meeting, or this is the time we have to follow up on the status, or this is the time we have to have a project discussions. All those things we have to be aware of. And we have to schedule the delivery schedule should be aware of the each and individual team members. As the people are work from home, we have to be very transparent on when they are going to deliver and what task they are going to deliver. So we have to make some compromisation on the work schedule because as people home, they have some personal works. So as a manager, you have to be flexible enough to maintain their work schedules. As people, as if we are working in the office, we have a flexibility to move around, uh, take away from the desk and roam around to see the people how they are working on and solve the problem. But when you are working in the virtually, you are stuck onto the system and start working in continuously for 2 hours 3 hours like that, you'll get some tired on the productivity. So you can use a time tracking techniques like Pomodoro or anything like that, so that can give you an alert system like a continuous of 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and then you can have a stretch out yourself and then focus on the work. So that can reduce your stress on your way of work in the home and give more productivity on that. And during this virtual working time, what you need to do is mainly you have to downsize your meetings. So you cannot have a meetings of more than an hour or two like that. So you have to downsize the meeting with limited number of people and get it done which with smaller and the focused discussion points, and move away from that so that the people can focus on that and they can start work on that. So you cannot bring all the members into the meeting and run a meeting for an hour, which will, as you are already distanced, like you are not connected, so it is really difficult to manage all the peoples in the meeting and make them engaged. The other will be the culture. So with this virtual, and we are from almost 9 to 10 months, we are in work from home. In this meantime, you in every organizations you might have recruited a new guys remotely as a virtual. So some new members are coming into the organization or your projects, and you never knows about them because you are not connected to them or personally understands them. So all the members should be treated with the respect, and we have to be aware of their cultural diversity. They may come from a different background or different cities. As we are in virtual, there is a great possibility like we are in Kerala, we are in Trivandrum, and we may recruit a person from the northern India or southern India or the western India or a different country also as a freelancer to the project. So we have to be understand the cultural diversity of the members who are coming into the project. And, sorry.
ಖಾತಾ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕು.
Sorry, it's hard to hear. If you are having any questions, just put it into the chat. We'll address the questions at the end of the session.
Yeah, kindly put yourself on mute if you're listening. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So the impact of the diversity with the people who are coming in, which may affect the work. So there is a possibility like the people come from the different culture. So they in their culture they think like, okay, a debate. If you take a debate, the debate can be considered as a creative or come to a solution to discuss on a particular point, have a discussion on that, and come to that. Somebody will think like a debate, throwing a debate will think like a disrespectful. So if you're addressing a question, it can be addressed based on the acceptance to the questions and find a solution to that. Or if someone is questioning the things, it may be because of the disagreement. So it all happens when the people are coming from the different culture, or when the people are working in remote. If we are in a room or if we are in an office, the way the people are discussing or debating or raising a question, we'll come to know in what accent or what pattern they are asking about, there will be very less conflict. So with this virtual, this kind of discussions will create a conflict to the team. So we have to be define the training process for the team and define the team rules. So the rule which the team has to be followed while working remote. So we have to follow a inclusive culture. So you might have heard about the Nostoso rule, which is like when you are making a group of members and in a meeting, we have to address all their points. So we have to listen to each individuals and gather their input and address their input and provide a solution to them. So no one should left out in the discussions. And when you are doing a virtually, when you are working in a virtually and or doing a meeting, we have to adopt a no multitasking policy. So the people who are in the meeting should be tightly close to the topics with the people or the presenter who is doing that, or the project manager who is directing the project, or a lead who is discussing about the solution. The people should not watch the mobile or doing a gaming or doing a WhatsApp. They should not do in parallel, because the people are not visible, because only the person who is doing that is visible or talking the points. The other thing will be that the challenge will be on the language. So the good communication is the bridge between the confusion and the clarity. So there should be a great communication is required to avoid any confusions. So it is easy to ask questions or details when you are working as a team in an office or a closed room or anything like that. But when you are in a remote, it is really difficult to address the questions or address the problems, because there are different factors which may affect. You don't know the body language of the members when you are talking about a problem, or when you are talking about a requirement, or the customer's issue. You don't know the body language of the team who is listening to your points. By if you are in a room or if you're in an office, you knows that by seeing their body language, you come to know whether the communication is going proper, whether they are easily understanding what the topic is, or we are getting an output from them properly. There are some visual cues you can easily understand by seeing their facial expression. You'll come to know whether they are actively listening to the things and actively participating to the discussions. There are some nonce communications. The nonce communication will be like when you are in a room and when you are in, the people may show the facial expression, like they may see a facial reaction, which will come to know like whether we are dominating that speak, or someone is dumping them. They'll come to know. But with the virtual, it is really hard to understand the differences. So the better way to avoid these things will be like, as a project manager, you have to define the communication plan to the whole team, and the frequency. So we have to define the frequency method on what way the communication has to be happened, and the time of day. So you should not, as you should not take a privilege of work from home for the team. Like as people are working in home, it doesn't mean like they have to work 24/7 for you. We have to respect their personal life also, and you cannot expect like sending a task or sending an action items by late in the night and asking them to respond in an hour or two, which will demotivate the people and demotivate the productivity of the team. And we have to use right communication tools. So you have multiple tools like the email, the chat, and phone. Scenario, if it is very critical, you should not wait for sending a mail or chat, because the people may not respond immediately. To take up a phone and call them up and find out a problem or resolve the problem. So the right tool should be taken care based on the scenario basis. So make sure that your whole team is empowered with the communication tools, and what are the tools which you are defining for the project everyone is engaged and empowered with the tools without lacking any of them. The another one is will be the relationship. As we are in the virtual, we are disconnected, so we are not relatedly close. So it is like as people are different locations, we are not connected to them. When we are in office, we are talking to them daily. We knows their body language, we knows them, and we can easily understand if they are in a problem, if they are in personal problem. By seeing them, we will come to know if they are in stress, if they are in a project, if they are working hard. We'll come to know by seeing them in an office or in personal. But when working in a remote, it is quite challenging. So always when you start a day or when you are talking to the members, you have to talk to the each and individuals along with your team. When you are having a team call, after that you have to be always talking to a team once in a while, in a day, at least on a daily basis, in a different time. And you have to talk a small talk. The small talk can create a big value. Like you have to talk to them on the current situation of the COVID of their area, how they are coming up with the current COVID situations, and you can talk about their the personal things, how they are utilizing their personal work when they are in remote. All those small talks which can create more bonding to the people. So when you're made create more bonding by having a small talk, you'll get more trust towards them, and you'll get more touching, and the people will give the deliverables will be more. And you have to schedule a regular live meetings. So you should not have always a voice call or a conference phone calls. So once in a while, you have to schedule a live meeting with the people, with all your team members. You have to treat them as a people. You should not treat them as a different person or a colleague. So to bring a morale to the team, as people are virtual, we have to bring the morale to the team. So to bring the morale, the one of the way to suggest will be the bring a virtual happy hours. So once in a week or once in a month, bring the family to the call. Bring all your team members to a call. Introduce their kids. Make an activity in the call, so that they will feel they will not feel isolated. They will feel like they are still close as a family. They still works as a family. So that will create more bonding and trust to the people, to the project manager and the team. And you can run a fitness challenge within the team. As people are working in remote, some of them will be health conscious, and some of them will not be that much health conscious, because they might be feeling sitting in the system almost a day. So always try to create some challenges of a running challenge in a week. How much kilometers you have to run, or how much kilometer you have to walk or cycling. Like you have a different apps like Strava or Nike. All those things are having some apps. So you can create a group to your team members or across your company and create a challenge, so that the people will be more connected towards that. So when you are bringing a new team members, you have to build the trust. So there are two ways of trust available. One is the cognitive trust and the affective trust. The cognitive trust can be on basis of the skill set and the certification the people is providing, and the expertise they are bringing into the team. And affective based is like how emotionally you are connected. So if a person coming from your native, or in your hometown, or in your state, you are easily connected, and you are connected based on their interest. They can be interest on the politics, or they can be interest on the sports. You both have, then you can easily connect with them. So that way, the team can be connected together when they are joined as a remote. So you have to encourage the personal relationship with your whole team. So you support the team to have touch base with their social media, touch base with their instant messengers, all those things. So as a project manager, you have to lay the foundations for the positive relationships. So it is project manager's responsibility to make the people related when they are working from home. There can be a possibility of a conflict occurs, because even when you are working in an office, you are still getting a conflicts. When you are in a remote, there is a high possibility of getting a conflict, because of you are not talking face to face. So when you are communicating in a phone or in a chat, there is a possibility of misunderstanding the topic or the point with the team is talking about. So you have to see the root cause of the problem, and you have to address that, and you have to find which kind of communication pattern which can resolve the conflict. So you have to keep on fine tuning your communication pattern and the plan. So you as you all done with the PMBOK guide, you knows about the different leadership styles. So based on the current situation of the team, when they are having a conflict or when they are having a problem with the relationships, you have to apply the corresponding leadership styles. The SCAF model is derived by the David Rock. So the SCAF model will talk about different problems which arise with the virtual team, and the possible solutions which can able to resolve to the virtual team and bring the team highly productive. So the SCAF is the abbreviation of the status, a certainty, autonomy, the relatedness, and a fairness. So what the SCAF model talks about with the virtual team? What are the problems? So when you talk about the status, you don't have any connection. So the people are distributed, and the fractured meetings. You might have missed out in the meeting as a team is a meeting is scheduled, and due to some problem or due to your connectivity or due to your personal work, you are not attending the meeting. You when you come back, you will come to know that you are not included in the meeting, so you'll feel you are disconnected. So this is a problem, and they question about their status in the project. So what is my role in the project? So that can be avoided by defining the clarity of the roles. So when you are defining a meeting, so in the meeting also you have to define the roles and responsibility. You have to specify, like, okay, the purpose of the meeting is this, and your role is this, your role is this, and your responsibility is this, so that the people will be connected, and they feel like they're part of the team, and it will create more valuable to them. Certainty. There is a possibility of high risk and delay in updates. There's a possibility of delay, a lack of trust, and ambiguity is there. So to overcome that, you have to have a consistent meeting with the person. So you have to talk to them continuously and find the problem and resolve for the issue. And reliability, you have to reliable on them, because they have their own problems or they have their own things. So you have to be rely on that, and you have to have touch base with them and get the things done. The autonomy, when they are in the office or when they are in virtual, when they are virtual, they may depend on the others. They may feel like they are dependent on some other people, or they don't have any lack of control on that. So how to make them autonomous is like bring them to the team as a involvement, involve them in all the discussions, or bring them together to the other members and clarify their responsibility. So when you give a responsibility, they work as autonomously and give the productivity. The relatedness. So when you work with the strangers, like as you are bringing in the new members to the team or new members to the project, don't know about them. So there is a possibility of working with the strangers. There is no relationships available with them. There is no impersonal interpersonal connection to them. So to avoid that, what you can do is you have to make a personal connections, and you have to do a consistent meeting with them, and have a regular introductions with all your team members, and a regular small talk, so that they can easily relate with you and touch base with you and have a good relationship with you. The fairness. The fairness can be with the virtual team, you'll face a lack of transparency, whether they're fractured meetings and the time of communication. So you have to be fair enough to know about their time zones or time when they are working. So the possible solutions can be on the trust. So you have to trust the member, because if a person is not available when you are reaching out to them, you have to trust them, like they may move out because of some high priority work, not like avoiding the work. So you have to trust the team, and you have to provide equitable rewards when they are giving a good amount of output. You have to be reward them equitably, and shared risk. So when the people are working in a virtual, you have to share the risk, because the problem or the work has been distributed to the different team members, and they have to work closely together. So with the final thoughts, so with the virtual team, we have the expertise, the skill set. So bring the expertise from different locations, skill set from the different locations. Only the missing part is the connectedness. We are not connected. So to make them connected, the main thing what we can do is, like, we have to make them personal, which requires we have to invest in time. So we have to be spend more time in during the virtual, when the people are working in the remote. As a project manager, you have to spend more time to the team, understand their problem and address them immediately, so that you'll get more and more productivity on that. So yes, so
Yeah, great, Nellai. I think we had a very good session from you regarding the how to manage the remote teams. And I think you rightly said about how we are missing that connectedness, or probably we are not able, we are emotionally challenged to read our peers or our colleagues that we used to earlier work together in the physically, right? Yeah, I think that's the pretty much, I think we are missing it, and it's definitely a challenge that we have. It continues, but I think we got some insights from your session as well. So the session is open for Q&A. So if anybody has any question, you can type it in the chat box. I think somebody had asked regarding the PTU claim. I think the PTU claim is the code is being shared over the chat box, so you can note it. So Nila, I think I'm not sure if yeah, while somebody takes the question. So one thing is, yeah. So in your experience, like how do you like manage or how do you overcome this connecting people emotionally? That's the challenge even I face in terms of managing people.
yes. So as people, when they start the work from home, they are emotional challenge, like they are having personal problems. When they are work from home, they are facing challenge with the family, because the family members have the disturbances, and then the home lot of disturbances. So it is creating more work, like they may need to spend more time compared to the office hours. When the people thinks, like when the people are working from home, they think like they can work anytime. It doesn't mean like that. So you have to be very clear enough, like you have to spend your time of work and time of the personal life, uh, and you have to be very clear on distributing the work and personal things.
Great. So another question now, I mean, there are two questions, but I would put it together because they both kind of relate to each other. So it's basically like, how do you measure productivity of the team members while working in the remote, or how do you make them more productive?
uh, make them, yeah, there are different tools are available, like as you always have the tools like how much hours the team is working on a particular task and all. You can use them to check whether it is they're giving the proper output or the estimated output they are providing, and how you can improve, like as people are working in remote and they are feeling isolated. When you touch base with them regularly and talking to them and give a moral support, like forget about the COVID, forget about the stress. So you have to remove the stress from the people. Like they should not have a fear of the current COVID or the current uncertainty in the industry. So you have to give more open transparency to the team members, like what's happening in the office or what's happening in the project. You have to be very transparent to them. That will give more confidence to them, and that can increase their productivity. So they'll knows that okay, everything is going under control, even though the person is working from home. They are giving the output, and they have to be ensure that the output what the team is giving is expectation.
Got it. Got it. There are a couple of few more questions, but yeah. So, in the question is, how does mentor and mentee relationship can be managed with a virtual team member?
Yes, the mental thing, yeah, that's why I said one of the option is like to bring the people and with the bring them to the video call with their family, make them like in office. We usually, in some of the companies, we usually have a Friday as a light day, right? The second half of the Friday, and then a fun day, like. So when we move to the work from home culture also, you have to follow the same way. So you have to make more fun times or more fun activities, and you have to engage them personally, so that they will burst out the stress. So the other way is like you have to throw some the personal challenges, like the fitness challenge, or some activities, or how they are managing the kids. Because when you are in office, when you are working in office, usually what you have to do is in the morning when you start to the office, and in the late hours you are going back. So with the kids, you are not having much time you are spending with the kids. But now your kids are in home, and you are in home, and you have your work, and kids have their online class. So you have to engage the kids, and you have to gather with your open talk with your team members, like how you are engaging with yourself with the kids, and how you are spending time. So the kids are the major stress busters for you, and that can give more productivity to the team.
Yeah, great. So, great, Nellai. I think with the considering times, I mean the time of the session, I think in the best interest of time for everyone, I think we are good. And thank you so much for your wonderful session on how to manage. It was very insightful, and got to know a lot of things from this session. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your time joining on a busy Thursday evening, spending some time for this talk. I hope it was all uh, helpful, a good session for you guys. And we'll soon catch up with next this talk session soon. Thank you all. Good
Yeah,
night.
thank you all. Thank you, PMI.